Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome to another brand new episode of Boss Babes, and this episode is extra special because it is the 2020 holiday wrap-up, and joining me shortly will be my boyfriend, Ryan. So you guys need to obviously stay tuned. Directly behind me is the Christmas tree, which we recently put up. We'll be talking about that shortly. We opened up a ton of gifts. We've been doing a lot of fun holiday stuff. Before we get into what we have been up to, happy holidays to all of you guys, but I have a really good announcement at Manscaped. You guys have heard about Manscaped. We all love when our men are groomed and trimmed properly. With Manscaped, you can keep all of your man parts clean for your significant other. Who the heck doesn't want their guy to be clean shaven? Of course, the proper way. Manscaped offers products like the Weed Whacker, Nose and Air Trimmer, to the high-performance, skin-safe, and waterproof Lawnmower 3.0, which is perfect to keep your private parts smooth and clean. Manscaped even has anti-chafe deodorant and an invigorating crop cleanser, and many more other rockin' products, so go check them out. Visit manscaped.com today and use code BOSSBABES. Again, guys, BOSBABES. The code is right there. BOSBABES at checkout to save on your purchase today. Get trimming, fellas. All right, so babe, hop on in here. So we have Ryan with me today because we have been all over social media, traveling up and down from the north, from the south, and we just wanted to do like a little holiday wrap up because back in like September and October, we did our very first episode with all of you. So we talked all about who Ryan is, the fact that he plays baseball, he grew up playing the sport.
How we met.
Yep.
And then what we've been doing all summer up until that point as well.
Exactly. So we discussed everything that we had been up to as far as going to the Cape, traveling to Boston, visiting our friends, going down the Danbury River with twice with your mom and dad and our dog Decker, and hiking.
Yes.
We had a lot of fun hiking this summer.
We did. A lot of cool waterfalls to go see in the state. Still many more to go see as well.
Yeah, we have a lot more visiting to do this upcoming year. We also went to South Carolina, so we told you guys about our trip to Myrtle Beach.
Yep. And then what else? Then we went went back up to Boston for a little bit, and then we came back down in beginning of October for the camp that I put on as well.
Exactly. So we left off on our Get to Know Us episode with Ryan was getting ready to host his camp at the Kernersville Little League. So we're going to have Ryan talk all about that and how it was such a great day for him to give back to the community that he grew up in.
So this year was our 4th annual camp we were able to put on. And it was just being October in North Carolina, it was just pretty cold in the morning to start. So everybody was bundled up until everybody got checked in. And then we were able to get moving, get a warm up to get everybody loose and ready. I think when everybody checked in, everybody gets their own brand new backpack, and then they were able to put in some tickets for raffle prizes at the end of camp where they could win drawstring bags, sign memorabilia, had a bat that was still engraved from one of my first seasons. Then it was just a whole fun day. We had to divide the kids up into a younger group and older group, to where we were able to help them improve their skills in the outfield, infield. We did some pitching and catching, and then another part of the day was just all working on hitting and working on their swing as well. And then we wrapped it up and played a fun little game, divvied up the teams to where they're about even, and just played a fun game for an hour and a half before we did the raffle prize at the end.
Yeah, I actually fully enjoyed the day. I was there as well. I helped film some of it on my cell phone because at the time I didn't have a camera. I actually just recently got one as one of my Christmas gifts. We'll discuss that later on. Thank you, babe, for that Christmas gift because I'm going to get so much use out of it. But yes, the day was so much fun. I enjoyed watching Ryan obviously give back to the community. His mom and dad was there. His agent was actually there helping out, set up everything. And just a lot of friends and family coming together for a really great cause. I loved about the whole thing was watching him interact with the little kids. His brother was there. His brother is actually a local baseball coach and a teacher in the North Carolina area.
Correct.
The same high school that you actually attended, correct?
Correct. Both of us went to that high school. Somebody has either been teaching, attending, or coaching at the high school since I think at least the 70s. So like our family is well ingrained into the high school. So like pretty much like around the high school, like everybody knows somebody in our family or they know of us just based off being in around the high school.
So again, it was just an all-around great event. And like Ryan mentioned, when we first got there, it was literally so chilly, which is weird because the weather in North Carolina, you guys hear me talk about this all the time in the Boss Babe show, but literally like it was freezing cold out in the morning. I had to wear a scarf, a coat, and then by afternoon, lunchtime,
You're ready to be in short sleeves.
Yeah, we were basically all in short sleeves, kind of sweating a little bit, enjoying our time, and not really having to wear the scarves wrapped around our heads. But
Correct.
all around, it was a lot of fun. Body Armor gave us some great products.
Yes, Body Armor. We had the Nike backpacks and drawstring bags as well. So thank you to those two sponsors for helping out as well.
And we got some pizza. The pizza was really tasty. The kids got a little break in between. So, babe, I'll ask you, what were some of your favorite memories from that event? I know that, again, there was a lot of skills, a lot of different drills. We did everything from outfield, infield, grounders, some pitching lessons. What did you enjoy teaching the kids the most?
I mean, granted, like being a pitcher, so it's always fun, like interacting with the kids, trying to just come up with like new games to keep it fun and keep them continue to work on what we talked about at the beginning. But also it's just fun seeing them, like you got the younger kids that are so energetic. They always want to work on like the diving plays. So like we found a way to just incorporate to let them just go diving in the outfield after everything. But it's just more like seeing the kids, like see them like process and trying to learn and like understand what we've been trying to teach them, and then see them do some of those things like in the game, like later in the day was awesome.
I really enjoyed actually watching the kids learn how to slide. So the kids did a really fun event towards the end where they were kind of like running around, learning how to base run properly.
Correct.
Where you're like hitting the inside of the bag, making sure you're not tripping and wasting too much foot space. So that way you're like saving when it comes to running around the bases and whatnot. I loved watching the kids slide into third base. I actually got some really good up close shots of some of the kids sliding. So I enjoyed watching the kids catch the balls on the outfield, doing the pitching, doing the running drills and all of that. It was all around a great day. And all that money that was collected actually got donated to Kernersville Little League, which is actually where Ryan started off playing baseball along with his brother. So how was that experience being able to donate those proceeds to your hometown Little League?
It's always just great giving back to the place like where we all started playing and where like we can attribute like our competitiveness and just the love of the game, because like we used to just grow up there playing like every Tuesday, Saturday from we were like kids till we were somewhat in high school. And it's just like you learn to just be competitive, and like we get like the big crowds that we would get when we were younger. Like it just gets you fired up, ready to play every day and just enjoy being on the field each and every night.
And where can people learn about next year? So that was how many years have you guys done it?
That was the fourth one.
So that was their fourth annual Kernersville Little League baseball clinic. So they will be doing it again next year. They usually do it in the fall, obviously, because of baseball season. So where can people sign up for this? Where can people look for information for 2021?
It should be coming up on like the Little League website. We are also working on the new site for next year to where it'll be easier to sign up, get paid, and then make sure your spot's like reserved for the camp next year. So we're still making the process a little bit easier for next year right now.
Awesome. So guys, again, stay tuned. If you guys are living in the North Carolina area, you guys are interested in being a part of the baseball clinic next year, next fall, I will be there, Ryan will be there, and we will all be helping out. And it's always a fun time. I'm looking forward to this upcoming year. But we're going to switch on over a little bit. You guys are now listening to Brittany Baldi. I'm your host of the Boss Babes. We are doing a special holiday wrap-up show today. Joining me is my boyfriend, Ryan. Again, you guys listen to us talk about our Get to Know Us episode back in early October, September. And here we are discussing kind of what we've been up to the last couple months. Months and weeks. So we have so much to catch you guys up on. So please stay tuned. Let's hop right into it. So after we did that clinic, we actually decided to travel back up north. And Ryan, for the first time ever, got to go apple picking. So I actually took Ryan to a place called Smollett Farms. We took our dog Decker. It was a place that I actually loved going to when I was a kid. My mom and dad, my brother and sister and I, we would all go there. It's actually right in Andover. We would take a little wagon. My dad would pull us around. We would pick out the pumpkins and the apples. And we would just make like this whole big day with it. We would get like the apple crisp, and I used to love doing it as a kid. So I was like, babe, we're going back up north, and while we're up there, we're going to go apple picking. So what was your first experience apple picking like?
It was a lot of fun, actually, not knowing what to truly expect from it, but then realizing how many apples we truly picked, and then just snacking a little bit on the apples, tasting them, trying to make sure like we got the right ones, and then realizing how many apples we had to make. I don't even know how many apple pies we ended up making while we were up there. I think we probably made close to 24 apple pies that we ended up eating or letting your parents eat as well. But it was just overall, I just enjoyed trying some new fall activities that I've never really gotten to do being down here in North Carolina.
It was a lot of fun too. What I loved about it was that we brought our dog Decker, and that was his first time, I believe, also going apple picking. He actually turns 3, so he's still very young. He hasn't done much yet, but we actually took him apple picking. And when I say that dog was eating all of the apples off the ground like a little vacuum,
all the apples, literally all the apples.
He was eating all of them off the ground.
From some of them.
And another thing that I loved about going apple picking was the fact that there's so many different rows of apples and so many different types of flavors. So as Ryan just described, it was cool kind of not only picking what apples you liked off of the tree, climbing in the trees, taking some photos.
Climbing all the way as high as you could. That way you could at least, but it's also like having to make sure there's ones that haven't either been bitten off
or there's no worms.
There's no worms, exactly. So you had to make sure we find the right ones as well. And then hopefully keep them as fresh as possible so we could use them to make food, but also eat for snacks as well.
Yeah, so there were so many different types of flavors and so many different types of, I guess, rows, like rows and rows upon rows
Probably
of
at least
apples.
20 plus rows worth of different types of apples.
And then we also tried to get pumpkins that day, but we ended up not getting our pumpkins.
We waited till we came back to North Carolina.
Yeah, we actually got pumpkins in North Carolina, which we will discuss shortly. But switching on over a little bit, because I know we talked about making these apple pies. So a few years ago, I came up with this really cool recipe where literally you guys can go to like any type of market and buy the pre-made dough. And basically you get the dough. Ryan and I like to take caramel, put the caramel inside.
Well, you gotta melt the butter and then put some cinnamon sugar inside, mix it together with the butter, layer it on the bottom of the pie crust. Then you put in the chopped up apples, put some of the caramel cubes in it, then layer it back more with more cinnamon and butter mix, close it, and then put a little bit more on top as well.
It's absolutely delicious. And I, for whatever reason, I'm actually a pretty decent cook, but I will say I never know how long to cook something or how many spices to put. So if you guys need
what temperature to put the oven at.
Or what temperature to put the oven at. So if you guys need like an exact recipe, I cannot give you that. I would just be like, hey.
Be able to ballpark it for you.
Ballpark it. Here's the ingredients. Do what you want. Because some people like their stuff a little bit more crispy.
Correct.
Some people like their stuff a little bit more undercooked or they want more sugar or more butter.
Each one we did came out a little bit different as well.
Yeah, and they're all very delicious. We gave a bunch to my mom and dad, to my neighbors. Basically,
we even
everybody
made
had them
down here in North Carolina as well.
Yeah, we ended up making some here as well, and his parents fully enjoyed them. But let's talk about Halloween. So Halloween was awesome. Sticking with the whole fall theme, we ended up making more apple pies. We tried to make some with butterscotch, and then we actually dressed up for Halloween. And babe, what were you for Halloween?
I found my costume from college to be Maverick from Top Gun. So I still had the jacket inside my closet, so we were able to do that. And then you used a homemade Power Rangers costume, I believe, from my mom that my brother, I believe, used when we were kids. So we still had it in the closet to just keep as like an antique almost, or use for like a kid down the road as well. And then we dressed up to take pictures, and we even dressed up Decker. We found like one of my baseball shirts and a hat that we put on him as well. So we actually all dressed up for a couple quick photos, and Ryan's brother came over for a little bit with his girlfriend and her son. So we kind of just wanted to be like very festive for him. And correct. I was actually very excited to wear the Power Ranger costume because growing up, obviously being a 90s baby, we loved the Power Rangers, loved the Ninja Turtles. So, correct. Of course, I fully loved wearing the red Power Ranger costume. I was the only one that could fit in it. Correct. So I loved wearing that costume. And as Ryan mentioned, Decker dressed up as Daddy, as a cute little baseball player. We put the little hat on him and
oversized t-shirt. He was so cute. Went to a place called Smith Hollow Farm. His mom and dad went with us. We do a lot of things with his family. They are very active and fun and adventurous like we are.
Yep.
So, babe, what did we do at Smith Hollow Farm?
Started with the corn maze, I believe. And once we got through the corn maze, we were able to pick up one of the tractor rides to pretty much took us around the entire farm. We got to see everything. And then once we got done with the hay ride, we were able to walk around a little bit more. We went to like the bakery there as well. We got some, I think, desserts, or we got a Monster ice cream cookie. Then we went and decided which pumpkins we wanted to take back and carve for Halloween as well.
Yeah, we had a really good time at the farm. So many kids there. It kind of made me be like, oh my God, I can't wait to have kids so I can take my kids here.
But I think also one of the llamas got loose as well. So there was you could just see some of the workers trying to run back to where it got loose and try to get it corralled as well.
That was actually super funny. So going off of that story that Ryan just mentioned, we were literally on the tractor. And I remember being like, babe, do you see that llama? Yeah. It's loose. So they had to go back and wrangle it somehow. We didn't get to see how it got wrangled because we ended up staying on the tractor. I kind of wish we stayed back to watch.
I would have liked to see how it turned out, but it sounded like they got it done. It wasn't the first time it happened either. So they got it done pretty quickly.
All around, it was a really cute day. And as Ryan mentioned, both him and I picked out a pumpkin together, and his mom and dad picked out a pumpkin.
We actually carved them that night as well. And that was an adventure in itself because we happened to choose the hardest one to try to carve, especially using the kit. It's had we known how to use the kit properly, it might have made it a little bit easier than it actually was supposed to be. Yeah,
so we actually had a fun pumpkin carving kit. I think Ryan's mom got it for us. So we were safe, guys. We didn't use a butcher knife. When we were younger, my dad used to let us use steak knives. I don't know how I didn't cut off a finger, but we used an actual pumpkin carving kit. We actually carved out it was difficult, but it was challenging. We each took our time carving out a little piece of it, but ours ended up having two ghosts. His mom and dad did one together.
Yeah, just one of the basic easier ones.
They did a basic one. They took the easy route, but theirs ended up looking really good. Ours looked really good. We scooped out all the seeds, and I think for the first time ever, they baked the seeds.
That was the first time we've ever done that.
I had done it. So that was a tradition we used to do when we were younger. I think a lot of you guys listening, if you do carve pumpkins, you scoop the seeds out, throw them in a pan, and either put salt and pepper on them or any type of seasoning or cinnamon and sugar. So we actually did that, and I snacked on the seeds all week. And Decker liked the seeds too, believe it or not.
Yes, he did. That was surprising.
Did you like the seeds?
For the ones, I think the best idea was we actually just mixed them both into just a container, so you didn't really know what you were getting each time. So it's kind of the mixture of the flavors turned out very well.
We had the salty sweet combo going on. Brittany Baldi, I'm your host of the BosBabes Sports Podcast. Joining me today is my boyfriend Ryan. Again, we are kind of just recapping you guys on all of 2020. I know, again, we did our first episode back in September. We kind of had you guys get to know who we are, the fact that we travel up and down because we have a long distance relationship, even though technically it's really not that long distance anymore because we've been living together for about 6 months.
Since you drove down for into July, I would say, and then just been every day since then.
Basically, I've been living together, but the thing is we don't have a house yet. We are currently looking at different locations where we want to plant our roots, but it's been actually a lot of fun being able to spend time with his family down south and my mom and dad up north. But sticking with the theme of fall, let's talk about Thanksgiving. So again, up and down, up and down. I don't even know how to keep track of how much up and down we do from North Carolina up north to Boston. My parents' house in Massachusetts to spend Thanksgiving with them because, again, we spent obviously Halloween down south. We're down south now. We are actually back in North Carolina. But we went up there for Thanksgiving. And it was actually Ryan's first time, I think, helping prep a turkey. So I taught him how to
fully prep a turkey, yeah.
Fully prepping a turkey, and I actually taught him how to make homemade stuffing. So, babe, what was your experience like prepping a turkey for the first time fully and making stuffing with me?
It was an adventure just going to the store, doing all the shopping for it to begin with, because I had no idea everything exactly what we needed. And I just remember going through the stuffing, learning how to make the stuffing. It was more just, all right, we need about 6 loaves of this. So we'll use X amount. I think we use 4 or 5 loaves just for the Thanksgiving turkey itself. And then we used another couple loaves for another time when we made stuffing. But it's just more like trying to go through and not realize how much actually goes into making the stuffing itself was very intriguing.
Made homemade stuffing before. The way that I do it is something about like the loaves of bread around Christmas and Thanksgiving. It's like the prime type of bread to make stuffing.
Correct.
I like to take it, I break it up into little bits, I put it inside the pan, I take some chicken or turkey broth, I dump it in there with the warm water.
Chopped up apples as well.
Chop up some apples in it, put in some cranberries sometimes, put in some celery. I like to saute the onions, throw in the poultry seasoning. And at the end of the day, you like to stuff the little turkey. I say that
as much as you can get in there.
Yeah, I call it stuffing it up the butthole. I don't even know if it's actually the butthole or not, but I take it, shove as much in there as I can, and then we put the extra into little pans.
Yep, and do it on the side.
And cook it on the side because my dad is kind of picky. He doesn't like to eat the stuffing with the apples in it, so I like to make him a separate one that has no apples in it.
Correct.
But all in all, Thanksgiving was really good. We actually spent it with my mom and dad and my family. Correct. We had desserts. We had the whole 9 yards with all the trimmings.
Yeah, we snacked on that for days.
We snacked on it for days, and it was cool because my brother and his fiance came over. We got to see her engagement ring, which was really nice. They recently just got engaged. That's actually a whole other thing we can discuss. But my brother recently got engaged at Disney World while waiting in line for the Frozen ride. So my brother just recently got engaged. A lot has been going on, guys. Like, I feel like my head is spinning. But after Thanksgiving, Ryan and I actually, you know that we both love sports, and we actually went not once, but twice
to Patriot Place.
To Patriot Place. If you guys are not familiar with it, Patriot Place is where the New England Patriots play at Gillette Stadium. So within Patriot Place, they have a bunch of shops and restaurants and bars, and you name it, they have it. So we went there, got some brunch, went with some friends, and babe, what did we do at I call it the Mini Hall of Fame.
Yeah, we went to, it's like the Patriots Hall of Fame. It's also where the gift shop is. So we went, the first time we went into the gift shop, and then we didn't have as much time to fully go through the Mini Hall of Fame. So when we went back the second time, we designated like at least an hour, 2 hours to where we could walk through. But then that way we could read everything and then fully understand and do a lot more of the interactive like games that they have there. But also like we were able to get some ideas for a future man cave on how to present like I guess like memorabilia like jerseys or cleats, gloves. Like it just gave us a lot of ideas on potential ideas for the future.
If you guys have never been to the Mini Hall of Fame, if you live in the New England area, if you happen to be passing by and want to grab lunch and go stop in, literally only costs $10 to get in. It's well worth the $10 because you could spend 2 to 3 hours in there because you literally walk in. And one of my favorite things,
like you're running through the tunnel.
Yeah, so like when you first get up the elevator, it looks like the players' tunnel. It looks like a big, long, extended helmet, like a Patriots helmet. And you can kind of hear like the huddle of Tom Brady talking, even though he doesn't play for the Patriots anymore. But you can hear Tom Brady talking a little bit. You can hear like the pump up music, and you kind of like, I ran through it a few times, like waving my arms around, like getting all excited. And then when you walk through the tunnel, there's like a bunch of jerseys, and like Ryan talked about, there's a bunch of like memorabilia.
There's a video, like a 20-minute video you could watch as well. Then there's like some other games to do. You can be kind of like act like you're like Vinatieri kicking the game-winning field goal in the snow. You actually get to be involved like in one of the huddles with Tom and like the offensive line. You could actually do like a vertical jump. Let's see what else. You could do like seat test your reflexes to see how fast you are like getting off the defensive line. You could go through like some of the like interactive playbooks and then like Bill is like explaining all the plays as well. So it's all overall just very well done and like very interactive. And then like your favorite part was like the duck boats at the end.
I absolutely loved the fact that it almost kind of goes in chronological order. At the beginning, as we talked about, you go through the tunnel, then you see the jerseys, then you see memorabilia that's current and past. Like they have some Drew Bledsoe stuff and whatnot. They have like stuff from like, I don't know, like the early 1900s. Like it's pretty cool. And then, as Ryan mentioned, you go through, there's interactive games for the kids and for the adults. They have the rings. You could see all the rings are there.
How big they got after each one.
Yeah, like literally you see the rings, they start off, they're not small. Like let's be real here. Obviously they have a ton of money. They could spend money on rings, but each year they go from like this big So like now the rings are like that
taking
big.
up a whole finger.
Taking up like I don't even know, like it like the size of my index finger. I don't know how these guys, I mean they're big guys, so I guess it fits them.
Correct.
But literally, like, they have all the rings on display. They're probably replicas, of course. They have all of the Lombardi trophies on display. And then, as Ryan mentioned, you kind of walk through where you get, like, the fan experience of being on the duck boat. So they have, like, duck boats set up where you can walk through it. And then on the side, they show, like, all the fans.
Visual that you would have going through the parade.
It gives you the visual of as if you were on the boat yourself, as if you were Tom Brady, as if you were Gronk.
Correct.
As if you were Julian Edelman being on the boat, seeing the fans. So.
Exactly.
All in all, we enjoyed being up, visiting my mom and dad for Thanksgiving and our family and friends up there. Ryan's first time stuffing a turkey, making stuffing.
That was a lot of turkey. I think we had the 20-pound turkey plus, was it another like 4 turkey legs as well? Plus all the like the apple pie, blueberry pie. You had to get them from Man's Orchard. And then I think we had all the sides, like so many sides of mashed potatoes, so many.
Needless to say, we had a lot of turkey and we had a lot of sports memorabilia to look at when we were back up there for Thanksgiving. Then, of course, we had to fly. Usually we drive. We flew back down
for a wedding.
For his cousin Paris's wedding. So, babe, let's talk about the wedding. It was very pretty. It was barn themed. It was kind of indoor, outdoor. What did you like about the wedding? It was very spiritual.
Yes, it's very, very spiritual. It's also a very good job with it because I loved how like they actually got married in the same church that my aunt and uncle got married in. So then they tried to take pictures they had to retake pictures from how when she was like very little when they got married to like replicate it for their wedding as well. And then I love like the barn that they were able to use. And they were able to do everything. Like people were able to go in and out a little bit better, and then just a true Southern like food wedding as well.
So as Ryan mentioned, what was kind of interesting about the wedding was Ryan's Aunt Lynn, who happens to be Ryan's dad's sister, got married at the same church that Paris, her daughter, did. 20 days ago, obviously, this past month. So they actually did some replica photos because Paris was about 5 or 6, I think, when her mom got married. I think it was really cool that they did replica photos. I was actually looking at them on Facebook last night. And as Ryan mentioned, they did like a really cool Southern style food.
We had I think we had some meatloaf or chicken pie, just your normal like green beans, mashed potatoes.
The sweet tea, which I still have not tried yet. I'm refusing to try it because I think it's going to be too sweet for me.
And then, then it was just, you had the dessert bar with the donuts. And then they really just like the cake that they got was phenomenal.
All in all, it was a very amazing wedding. I really liked that it was part indoor, outdoor. It ended up being, although it is December and it is chilly, it's not as chilly, or it wasn't as chilly.
Correct. We got blessed with a warmer December day. And no rain because it was originally projected to have rain that day, but there was no rain. It was a beautiful sunny day, and they were able to. They had almost like an amphitheater where they were able to go down, and that's where they did their first dance, the father-daughter dance as well. So they were able to do it all, and the speakers were loud enough to where you could hear them from the barn down there.
What I thought was super cool about the whole thing too was they actually had somebody
painting.
Yeah, they had somebody off in the corner painting her first dance with her husband. So again, congrats to Mrs. and Mrs. Green. But basically after that wedding, again, guys, we are recapping the last few months and we have done a whole lot. We drove back up
to Boston.
Back up to Boston. We actually ended up driving back up. And the cool part about that is we actually stopped off in Baltimore. And the reason why, the last couple months I've been like, babe,
we got to stop for crabs.
We got to get crabs
in Baltimore.
And like every time we go through Baltimore, I'm like, babe, can we just get some crabs? I want to try the crabs. Can we get some crabs? I was like being like a little kid. Can we get some crabs? So eventually he was like, all right, we're going to go get some crabs. So where did we go?
We went to Nick's Fish House. So it was like right off of I-95 and just right on the water. So like we were able to sit. I mean, we sat inside because it was pretty chilly that day. But we were able to sit like at the window so you get a great view on the water. And we had the waitress help us just kind of a couple recommendations on. So we ended up getting like 2 appetizers. We ended up getting like 2 crab cakes that we split. We had a thing of oyster stew, which
the oyster stew was bomb.
Phenomenal, especially because they make the stew. Like made to order, so like they
Mhm.
don't, so it's like fresh, everything's fresh about it. And then we ended up doing like a half dozen crabs, but she showed us the proper way to break it open and what to take out of the crab, and then how to like use the mallet to break the claw so you can even get even more of the crab meat out.
It was a really cool experience for me because I'm very adventurous. I like to try new things. So just the simple fact of being able to like stop somewhere new, because I had never really been to Baltimore other than one time previously for a work experience. But it was a beautiful day, as Ryan mentioned. It was kind of chilly, but it was very sunny out. The restaurant was right on the water. I'd love to go back and visit there again.
Yeah.
The oyster stew, as Ryan mentioned, was so delicious. It was very creamy. It was kind of similar to like a clam chowder.
With oysters.
With oysters, but had way more flavor. It had like an onion kick to it. Very delicious. I highly recommend Nick's Fish House in Baltimore.
We also would
the staff was really good too.
Probably would love some more recommendations when we like with more of the drives that we do. So if anybody has like other recommendations that would help with the drive.
Yeah, yes, please do, because we're always traveling up and down, and obviously with the upcoming baseball season, if you guys have recommendations, or if you guys live somewhere and you know of a good restaurant or a good brunch spot, please DM either one of us.
Because even the other day, like my uncle gave us like a great burger spot in Connecticut that we're probably going to try at some point as well.
I will get a little bit descriptive here so you guys can kind of learn what we did. So I've eaten crab before, but when I've eaten crab, it's already come like pre-de-shelled, like no shell on it. So what I thought was super cool was they basically take like this paper cloth. It's like a tablecloth, but it's paper.
Yep.
They put it out. They give you the butter for each one of you. They dump the crabs on top of the table. Yep. They give you these little like wooden mallets, and you have to just like go ham.
Like a plastic like knife to where, because you stick the knife in to be able to pry to where you can break enough inside the crab to where you can break it and just pull it apart. And then you use that knife to pull out the lungs. And then you can also use the knife to get all the meat from the crab legs as well.
All in all, it was a really great experience. I still thank him. I'm like, babe, that was such a good date. I fully enjoyed it.
Just don't wear nice clothes to do that.
Yes, please take his advice. Do not wear nice clothes. We did not, thankfully, whenever we travel, that's like one of our biggest tips. We literally like no makeup, like we barely wear like arm deodorant because we're getting up at like 5 a.m. to do these drives. So we literally go in sweatpants. And for this particular date afternoon, it was perfect because we ended up smelling like crabs and Old Bay seasoning all day. But it was well worth it.
Well worth it. Definitely well worth it. And we're going to probably try some other places. I know there's some good spots in Baltimore as well. But it works because like even if we had Decker, we would have been able, if it was warmer, we'd be able to sit outside as well. So
any recommendations, please feel free to DM either one of us. We would love to hear those recommendations. We're going to be vlogging in the new year. Ryan actually got me a really awesome camera set up, so I cannot wait to use it this upcoming year. But switching on over, obviously we were in Baltimore because we were driving up north back to Boston. Why? We did an early Christmas with my mom and dad. We also celebrated my dad's birthday.
And your birthday.
And my birthday. We actually gave my dad for his birthday golf clubs. His mom and dad gave him a set of golf clubs.
And then I signed one of my athletics jerseys for him since he's a big collector as well.
Yeah, my dad loves to collect sports memorabilia. He's always been into sports just like I have. He has like a whole collection of jerseys, and I'm always like, Dad, stop leaving them in. Like he literally, I don't know why. He leaves them in this like plastic, like tacky. I don't know why. I get it. He doesn't have a man cave yet. He has a lot of nice jerseys, a lot of nice memorabilia, and it's all like kept in a closet. No one can see it. No one even know that he has it, but now you guys know because we're obviously talking about it. But anyways, Ryan gave him he signed it in person to my dad, so he is very excited about that gift. But anyways, we were up there celebrating my dad's birthday, my birthday, and an early Christmas. While we were there, we got some authentic Italian catered food.
Correct. That was a first for me as well, especially we got chicken parm, we did Italian meatballs, eggplant, and then the ziti broccoli and chicken as well.
Yeah, we did like a broccoli Alfredo, but this Alfredo sauce was kind of interesting because it wasn't like a true Alfredo. A true Alfredo to me is like more creamy and more cheesy.
Correct.
This one was cheesy, but I think it had like ricotta in it.
It might have been the ricotta
because it was a little bit thicker and it didn't taste like the traditional Alfredo. But nonetheless, it was very good. Borelli's is amazing. I swear up and down about their chicken parm subs all the time. So we
did try those as well. So I got a sneak peek of the subs of what the chicken parm would be like for the birthday celebration.
My mom and dad, we celebrated Christmas early. So we actually got my mom and dad a bunch of good gifts because they're so good to us year round. Ryan actually got my mom and dad a new microwave because that's all they cook with. I don't know why. They have a brand new kitchen, but all they like to use is a freaking microwave. Big gift of the weekend. So Christmas weekend before we left, my mom got a brand new French Bulldog puppy. Her name is Brielle. She's really cute. I'll share a photo of her at some point. But my mom had been looking for French Bulldogs for
months.
For like 3 or 4 months. Nobody was reliable. Nobody was good to get a dog from. But our boy Jose, that I've known, actually my good friend Samar and I have known him since we were in our teens, came in the clutch, drove all the way to Pennsylvania, picked up this dog. Now my mom has a brand new puppy. So I think that was my mom's favorite Christmas gift this year.
Correct. As well as because we gave her the puppy starter kit as well. So she already had at least a head start on what she needed. But then it's more like now we just been helping her get into the routine of making sure like, she goes out at certain times, she gets fed at certain times. So it's almost just like having a baby at the house.
I think my parents are excited to have a new baby at the house. They're sitting and waiting for grandchildren. Wink, wink. My sister has been trying for a while. So sending good luck to both her and Alex over there if you guys are watching. But yeah, I think my parents are excited to have a new puppy. Although my dad didn't really want one to start. I think he's excited about it. He kind of feels like a dad all over again. So we actually got a snowstorm while we were up there.
About 9-10 inches of snow. So it was nice being able to go out and watch Decker run around in the snow. Like just like loves how he just rolls on its back and just like lets it almost just like roll around in it and just enjoy running around. Because we know he's definitely loves the snow, loves the water, anything like that.
He's very outdoorsy. And I kind of like jinxed it because I remember saying, babe, at least one of these trips up north, you're going to experience a snowstorm. And he got one. So we were able to enjoy the snow, be snowed in for a day or two, and just kind of enjoy our last few days there before, again,
we drove back down.
Drove back down with Decker this time. Drove back down south. It was not the best drive.
No, a lot of traffic.
A lot of accidents. I hope the people are fine, but it was not the most fun drive at all. But no. I would assume that it was because people were last minute holiday shopping, visiting family.
Yeah. We were due to hit traffic with how many times we did it without much traffic or no traffic at all, which is very surprising.
But we ended up making it back, and we recently obviously celebrated actual Christmas here, and Ryan's family has different traditions than I do up north. Up north, again, it's more of like the traditional Italian, like you have some seafood, you have some chicken parm, you have like the cannoli and the desserts. And here, babe, what do you guys like to do? I know meatloaf is a big part of your traditions.
A bigger part of our family from like, I believe my grandmother started like, so I always grew up with it because like we would always go to my grandparents in Florida for Christmas. So like, it's more like a family tradition that way. And since we haven't been able to go to Florida in a few years, we started doing that tradition here. And then we also started, since we've been staying at home for Christmas, now we've been going up to my aunt and uncle's for breakfast every Christmas morning. So our family would get together there as well. So my uncle like loves his outdoor kitchen. So he's always up to make food for all of us.
That was my first time with Ryan, obviously, because this is my first holiday with him because we started dating last January. I can't wait to see what's going to be in store for us for 2021. But as Ryan mentioned, it was pretty neat that a good amount of his family and friends got together for Christmas morning. We all went up to, it's a place called Yadkinville. It's kind of like, I call it Moo Cowville because whenever we go up there, it's like very country with like
moo cows and lots of chickens.
Lots of chickens and moo cows. And it's very pretty. Like you could see like the mountains and there's like flat land and
everything.
It's a lot different from where I grew up. But they made a ton of food for us. We had everything like French toast to like
eggs, bacon, sausage. We were able to get biscuits and gravy, and then French toast. I believe there was tenderloin. There's some tenderloin.
I tried biscuits and gravy for the first time, which was kind of delicious because, again, I'm not Southern. I don't know. I'm trying some of this stuff for the first time ever. I really liked it because his uncle put a lot of chopped up sausages in it. So I think the sausage is what gave it the flavor.
And it wasn't, he doesn't put salt in it either.
It was kind of like thick and creamy too. Yeah. So I put that on top of a biscuit and it was pretty delicious. Ryan, I actually got him, which I was excited about. So we discussed it in the first episode that we did together, but Ryan's favorite player as a kid, and I think is he still your favorite? I mean, he doesn't play anymore, obviously, but your idol.
He was my favorite player growing up, and like why, like as a kid,
Chipper Jones
is why, like as a kid, all of us like wore our pant legs up to like our knee. He was the main reason why everybody did that.
So one of the gifts that I got for Ryan was a Chipper Jones rookie card. So Chipper, if you are watching or happen to watch this, we need to get this card signed somehow.
We'll find a way
for our future man cave, but that was a gift that I really wanted to get for Ryan to help encourage him to keep that spark and enjoy playing baseball for the next couple years or forever, how long he ends up playing, and to give that spark to our future kids in the future.
And then we also talked about one of the traditions that we have as my family that you knew about was like we always get like one gift to open on Christmas Eve.
I got these PJs from his mom.
So it was it's nice that you were able to get to be involved in that as well. And I'm sure like if like my brother's girlfriend and her son, they would have got the same one as well. So I know for the next year, we are probably going to be all in matching PJs at some point.
So stay tuned for next year, guys. We're probably going to have matching PJs. Maybe some of us will be engaged. Wink, wink. Who knows? Who knows? But we have been enjoying our holiday season together. And speaking of gift opening and holiday parties and different holiday traditions, you go to Florida. We're going to be flying down to see one of my best friends, Samar. She did her gender reveal today. I'm so happy for her. Congratulations. She's having a baby girl.
Which is what we both, that was our hunch as well.
We both predicted that she was going to have a baby girl, so I'm very excited for her. She's having a baby girl. We're going to be staying with her in her new house in Florida. She moved recently to the Boynton Beach area. So we're going to be spending the new year with her and some family and friends. We're doing a sports clinic there as well in Port St. Lucie. What else are we going to be doing? Some snorkeling in Florida, I hope.
We've got quite a bit of, probably some good amount of snorkeling, probably some good sushi to go get as well, because we will be celebrating your birthday since it was kind of too cold and we wanted to keep it a low-key birthday for you. So we got a lot of fun activities at the beach and then a lot of snorkeling to get done as well. And then I know you want to go to get sushi at least once, maybe once or more.
So I'm very excited to spend the new year with some of my friends and family down there. And again, congratulations to Samar. She's having a baby girl. I'm so excited for that. And obviously with the Boss Babe Sports Podcast, you guys know that we love talking about charity. You guys are now listening to Brittany Baldi. I'm the host of the Boss Babe Sports Podcast. We're going to have so many great episodes coming up in 2021. Ryan and I are here wrapping up 2020 and what we've been up to the last couple months. It's been a lot of Massachusetts, North Carolina, North Carolina, but a lot of different adventures, a lot of fun. And I don't know, even when I was writing out the show today, I was like, holy crap, we did a lot of stuff this year.
Page after page of stuff.
Yeah, pages. And this isn't even everything that we've done. This is just I had to pick and choose what to talk about.
Some highlights.
This is just the highlight. So, charity. You guys know that the Boss Babe Sports Podcast is all about charity. So some great charity things that Ryan and I have been involved with. We recently visited, so I want to tell this story, and I'll have Ryan talk about it too. A girl that I grew up with in high school, her name is Caitlin. I've been following her the last year or so on social media, on Facebook. My brother actually graduated with her in high school. We all went to Methuen High, including my sister. Her son is literally obsessed with baseball. He's young, almost a teenager, is a pitcher himself. I have been following all of their tournaments and everything that they've been doing baseball related. And he recently is getting ready to do some type of tournament in Cooperstown. So I said to Ryan, babe, it would make his day if we showed up with an autographed ball or a t-shirt and some sneakers. I think we should go. So Ryan and I drove down to see Caitlin and her son. And babe, what was that experience like for you to be able to talk to him and give him some tips and advice?
Well, I mean, we knew he was going to be a little shy, kind of like the kids from the camp, but also it was just great because his mom was able to ask quite a bit of questions and to help him understand how much some of the work that he's got to get done, but also don't forget that you're just a kid as well. So enjoy doing other sports activities as well.
Yeah, I think that was some good advice because Ryan was basically saying don't wear yourself out with just baseball. Other sports help teach you different motor skills. And if you're a pitcher, which I think he happens to be a pitcher, you don't want to throw your arm out at such a young age because then you might not be able to play when you get older. So that was some great advice.
Exactly.
What else did you guys talk about during your talk? I know he was kind of shy, but He was taking it all in.
We talked about like how, because we talked about like how like he's going to do the tournament to go to play in Cooperstown, but I explained to him like when I was growing up, it was all about trying to make the all-star team to go play at Williamsport. So we kind of like talked about that, but then I explained to him that I was in Cooperstown for like the record that I broke, and how like actually neither of us like have ever been there. So it was almost like wanting to go there as a visit and actually see everything as well, because he gets, by going to that tournament, he gets like to go walk around the Hall of Fame for like part of the tournament.
So best of luck to both of them. I hope that they enjoy their tournament whenever that does happen.
Correct.
And I thought it was really sweet that Ryan was able to give back when we were visiting in Massachusetts. Another cool thing, my dad actually donated some money to a local food pantry. Originally, we all wanted to donate turkeys and the trimmings,
correct,
but they wouldn't allow it because of COVID. So instead, my dad actually wrote a check, and hopefully they used it towards food. I'd assume that they did. Other great ways that we've been giving back. Princess Program Foundation.
Yes.
You guys, we love Princess Program Foundation. Alyssa's a good friend of both of ours. If you guys don't know what Princess Program Foundation is, we actually have a whole podcast episode on that. So please go listen to it. Alyssa started a great foundation where she gives back to sick kids with cancer, and girls dress up in princess dresses for the sick kids. They give out gifts. So what Ryan and I did with my mom, with some friends,
bought some like once Halloween was over, we went and bought like the new princess dresses from from the store, and able to just donate them, put them in like a suitcase. That was very helpful because they could be able to use the suitcase to bring around the hospitals and everything as well.
So we basically, as Ryan mentioned, got some Disney princess dresses after Halloween because they were on sale, which was great. We got my mom helped collect some Disney princess books. My friend Shayna is actually one that donated the Disney suitcase. So there's like 3 or 4 of us that basically came together, wrote out a nice card, collected a bunch of items, and now Alyssa at Princess Program Foundation will be able to put together little gift packages for these kids with cancer, which we are super excited about and grateful that these kids are going to be getting these items. I actually recently donated a pair of sneakers to the Weymouth Senior Center. Her name is Kelly. Speaking of cancer, she beat breast cancer, I think twice, actually. She's a freaking rock star. We met at the Verma Foundation catwalk event. So her and I teamed up, and I donated a pair of sneakers to her for the Weymouth Senior Center. Also, where else did we donate? The Born to Run Foundation.
Born to Run. We both donated a pair of shoes to Noelle Lambert and her Born to Run Foundation to help somebody with when they get their new blades, to where they'll be able to have brand new sneakers to be able to run with. So
we did donate some sneakers to Noelle Lambert. I'm so happy for her and Famita. Stay tuned because I'm going to be dropping an episode both with her and Famita in 2021. A lot of great episodes, guys, coming to the BosBabes Sports Podcast in 2021. So please stay tuned. We have an episode with Famita Noel, Caleb Beninoke of the New England Patriots. We have Jetty Dell. We have Ashley Peterson, Adrian Peterson's wife, you name it. So many great episodes that I have to edit and get out there. But back to the charity, because a lot of them also do a lot of charity work as well. Ryan and I also donated a good amount of canned goods to a charity to my friend Danielle.
Yep. We also donated toys
in North Carolina.
In our I think it's like the East Forsyth or Forsyth County like toy store. So we were able to go grab like a certain amount of toy items for different age kids and be able to pretty much like package them and be able to hand them out around the Christmas time as well.
So Ryan and I, we love to give back as much as we can, whether it just be a little note to people or some food or some money when we can, or some clothing. If you guys can give back in any way that you can,
it's possible.
Please go ahead and do so. You don't have to be a bajillionaire to do so. You can literally be a kid making toys and giving them out to people. So again, with the BosBabes Sports Podcast, we love to hear about all things positive. Speaking about positivity, we're here for the positive pop. And I know Ryan wanted me to give my positive pop. I say this all the time, and through meditation, I have learned this. Live in the moment. You guys literally be patient, live in the moment, because I know it's very hard with the COVID situation, and it's difficult with when is my job going to be coming back? When do I get to go visit my grandma? When is summer going to be back here again? Try to figure out how you can adapt to the situations. If you can't see your grandma, maybe FaceTime her, maybe send her gift in the mail. If you don't have a job currently, try to figure out other ways to make money or to keep yourself busy if you can't work currently. Or if you're waiting for summertime to go on a vacation, maybe get a
listen to some beach music.
Yeah, that's what I do. Listen to some beach music and freaking throw on your swimsuit and go in the bathtub if you have to. Like, who gives a crap? Whatever is going to make you happy, live in the moment, cherish the great people that are in your life. And babe, do you have any little positive pop? I know that you agree with what I'm saying, but
I would say, I know the last one I said was just like you can only control so much, but also like just gotta know, I guess, like try to find your ways to just stay happy, try to just enjoy what you're doing and try to look for all the bright spots of everything that's happened this year. Don't let the negativity wear you down. Only just focus on what the good things this year has brought and taught everybody.
But I just want to wrap up the show. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and listening all year long on the Boss Babe Sports Podcast. Please subscribe to us on Spotify and iTunes. Babe, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you.
Please stay tuned because Ryan and I are going to try to do a new episode every month and a half or so to keep you guys updated on everything that we are doing. We're going to be vlogging. We're going to be keeping you guys updated as much as we can. And I'm going to obviously have a bunch of other great sports entertainers on as well. Stay tuned. You guys rock. And happy holidays.
Happy holidays.